That's right, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Everything at Random. And as you see, I'm here with somebody. We're going to call this episode Pursuit of Happiness because, we're always working towards that and we're always working towards something. There's like a goal that we have in mind. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about, not only our mental health, but career achievements. And also a little bit of what it looks like to be a role model or what you want to see in a role model, what you're looking to get out of it. And my friend here, Mike, known him for a few years, worked with him. The nicest guy I've ever met. Like,
thank you.
Genuinely just super nice dude. I feel like he does all the right things. Not saying he's a straight edge, but the guy he just gives off that great energy and just always seems like a positive guy. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike, as Jared said, I'm an open book. I enjoy telling stories, and that's how I kind of learned about myself and my background, whether that be with family or friends. Like, we always just told stories, and truthfully, if anybody asks me anything, I'll tell you straight up what that is, So it's a really cool platform to just express how I'm feeling, and this podcast made it seem like we should be talking about this stuff. Like, we should be talking about ourselves and opening up to friends, family, and just telling a story. Everybody has a story, and I'm very excited to share my story with you and kind of get a little bit deeper in on that. So, but yeah, we met a long time ago. What feels like 2 years ago, but it was a long time ago. Coming up close to 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, 2015. So it's nice to catch up, and maybe we fell off here and there, but it's good to just get back on it and talk a little bit more about
that's
a deeper level,
And I love that. A lot of people don't realize, like, sometimes you may not ever connect with the person or you don't talk to them every day, but I love the fact that you brought up, like, it feels like it wasn't that far off.
Yeah.
It's 8 years. You said it, and I was like, damn, that doesn't.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want you to know there's always those friends out there that you can always connect with at any moment.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get right into it.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me, like, how do you define overall happiness? Mm-hmm. And what steps do you take to prioritize your mental health in your career journey? I know that's a lot going on in that one. But let's do the overall happiness. How do you feel?
It's different for every person, and for me, it's just being content. And I know that sounds sort of baseline and generic, but I have always kind of struggled with whether that be like OCD or like the manic bipolar depression kind of thing, where it's just you go from these crazy highs where you feel like you can do every single thing under the sun, and then you have these crazy lows where you're like, you know what, I just don't feel like doing anything, and that's okay. But for me, it's just being content. So like, I come home and I do something that I enjoy, whether it be hopping on PlayStation with a couple buddies and playing Call of Duty for an hour, half an hour. It doesn't really matter how long. Or that means me going in the bedroom and just kind of getting a book, going on my iPad and just browsing the web or reading what I want to read. And that's so small to what other people's happiness might be, right? Maybe getting the dream job or the dream car, whatever it might be. But yeah, for me, the overall happiness is being content with myself, because there's so many different conflicting thoughts or feelings or different pockets of energy that just make me go crazy. So for me, it's just being content.
I like that. Yeah. I know I use the word happiness, but I feel as though like what you're describing and a lot of people should understand and we should all strive for is peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Happiness is, like you said, they're highs. That's a rug that we're always trying to reach. But like, peace is what I feel as though like that was the definition of peace.
Yeah,
happiness is your definition of peace. But like doing all that and trying to deal with the outside things and trying to keep yourself busy, like how do you prioritize like your career? You know, like you have your mental health and you have to deal with these things. And I know you're using this to decompress.
Yeah.
Your career journey, like how does that How do you
Yeah.
those things?
Well, besides therapy, every Tuesday, my girl Eileen, you know, you gotta keep
Shout out.
yourself to. I don't know. I recently have like I found myself during COVID and taking it back to that era because that's kind of where everything changed for me.
Oh yeah.
Is and I think changed for everybody, honestly. But I never, I can never see myself staying at a company for like a long time, especially around that period. And I found myself like switching jobs after like a year and a half, and it wasn't good. And I just wanted to go on to the next big thing. And it got to a point where I just like, I had a conversation with my wife, and she was like, "Hey, listen, like it's not just your future anymore; it's our future, and
Mm.
we got to kind of lock that in a little bit." And that kind of, at first, I was like, "Well, it's still my future," but she was like, "No, it's ours. We're now joining this thing where we have to move forward as a unit," and that kind of lit a fire under my ass and made me realize, like, let's, instead of just switching jobs and trying to find the next big thing, whether it be chasing money or location or whatever it is, let me really find out what I want in a job and in
Ooh,
a career.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
the fact that narrowed it down and that you had that support there to help you narrow that down too.
yeah.
Um, so
I
give me
was lucky.
more.
I was
Like,
lucky in that.
yeah, give me more of like what was that thing? What was that thing that you narrowed down, and what steps that you may have taken to just figure that out?
Yeah. So for me, it was definitely flexibility. I came from a job that was like I had to, and I'm sure a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with this, but for me, it was like punching at, you know, 6:01 a.m. and you take lunch at 10:59:33. Well, you got to be back at, 11:59:33. Like it was very, very restrictive. And I saw my peers having this freedom of, my friend texted me at like 2 p.m. like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on COD or whatever. And it's like, dude, it's 2 p.m. Like you're not working right now. Like,
Yeah,
just the flexibility. So I really wanted that. And then having the ability to travel a little bit and seeing
mhm.
other cities and just experiencing different things. And location wise, it'd be great to get up and walk down the street and go to work. And I kind of achieved all those things with the company I'm at now. I work in the same town where I live, down the street. I
Mhm.
have flexibility, and I get to travel a little bit. So
I
that's
love
what I looked for, and that's what I've been on LinkedIn. I was on ZipRecruiter. I was on all these, job posts, and I know you have as well. Yeah, I don't have to.
it's fucking ridiculous,
Yeah, dude,
ridiculous. And
it
then
really is a full-time job.
sometimes I would have to say, like, did you feel as though you took a pay cut?
No, I was fortunate enough to move up in my earnings, so you can say.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good. Some people are like looking for that perfect. So let's just break it down. My man said location, location, location.
yeah,
Because you want to be able to have that flexibility. You want to
yeah.
feel good. You don't want to feel tied to do other shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love that. I
Yeah.
love. I don't think about it like that. Was money in play in your mind? Was you like thinking like I
Oh,
need a
for sure. Oh, yeah, yeah. You
is
got like,
that the overall like decision?
no. I mean, not necessarily. Everything kind of lined up, and it just so happened. Hey, if it was for like, you know, $2,000 more, I would have done it. Honestly, just because I was very unhappy where I was
Mm,
previously, and it was just I'm very grateful for where I am right now, and I just keep thinking like I'm just going to try to be the best version of myself in this role and what I'm trying to do and who I'm trying to help, and see what's next. Just kind of keep going on.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, so it's been great. I'm very lucky, honestly. Like, so I
So
keep that in mind.
so share a memorable experience from your career when you achieved the goal like the
Mhm.
that you wanted, because now you're at the place that you want to be at. Is there like any like little goals that you give yourself to keep that that mental, you know what I mean? Now you're mentally stable in ways because like you're close to home, you're feeling good. Not to
Mhm.
say you wasn't before, but there's things that were just disrupting it before. Now,
Yeah.
now everything's easier. We always are searching for another goal. Was there another goal, and what steps did you take to achieve that?
Yeah. I would say my career itself, like coming out of college, I
Mhm.
had no idea what I wanted to do. Truthfully, and I say this, I really shouldn't have went to college. I, I had a great time, and I certainly learned a lot, but more so about myself.
Hmm.
And I feel like I could have done that maybe anywhere, but it just so happened that that's where I learned about myself. So coming out of college, I was freaking out because I see my friends like going to school for maybe, let's say, degrees that get you like a quote unquote job right out of college, whether that
Yeah.
be engineering or construction or whatever it might be, like biology, something. you
It
know,
seems like, oh shit, that's the place I want to be at.
yeah. And
Or
I
like it marks off the checkbox that you achieved something big. You know what I mean?
right, right, and that's awesome for them, and they got good jobs, and maybe they wanted that, but I don't know if I had that, I don't know if I would have like felt that accomplished. I don't know. It's weird to think about that time of my life because I really had no idea what I wanted to do
Mm.
still. So anyway, so coming out of college, I literally bought like an extra large coffee once I graduated, sat in my room till like 3 in the morning and just applied to countless jobs. And the one that stuck was a larger tech company that I had always wanted to work there. Like literally, I was known in high school as like that kid with the craziest tech and just the first thing that came out. So just so happened I achieved that goal, and I felt like I was on top of the world, dude. Like I had just won,
You was a happy guy. I'm not gonna lie.
bro.
The way you just described it is exactly how you said it to me. Like I always wanted to. I actually helped train this guy. Uh, I
Did a
I
damn good job.
yeah. Like I don't know, man. Like for you to say I did a good job, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
dude.
I,
Thank
I, I think I didn't realize how good of a job I did because for you to say that to me, not once, but like I believe like three times you've mentioned that to me, and I'm like, nah, man.
people like I remember faces. I remember people. I just remember weird, random like interactions or just the feeling. I remember when like meeting people, and it's just it it reflects back on you and how you wanted to form what you wanted to work in. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't give a shit, you wouldn't have given a shit, and that would have reflected on you like not
Mhm.
giving a fuck about that role or that moment or whatever it might be. And that's not the case. um, that wasn't the case because it surely showed, and I took that I loved teaching people, I loved mentoring, and I loved doing all that kind of stuff, working with people, answering questions, asking questions. So um, yeah, when I achieved that, I just felt like I was on top of the world. I mean, it was great. It was a fun job. I loved it. I think my family saw that I liked it and I loved it, and it just it was
It showed, man. It showed in the work that you did. I remember you. I remember there's quite a few people. I feel like I remember everybody, but like there's people who stand out. You, I see you. I'm right away. Bernardo, love this dude. This
Remember
guy,
talking about business? No.
yeah. You want to talk about business? This guy right here. I would say he came in with the most positive energy I have. Like you can see it across the room, and the guy gives a smile, and it's incredible. I'm not trying to fluff shit. I'm being honest. The dude was super nice, dude,
Thanks.
and I feel like I would never want to do wrong to this dude. And I'm like, if I ever came off in a bad way, I had a bad day. I am sorry. I'm gonna tell you like that right now.
Yeah.
I think we got into that play. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I ever did, but like I
Hey.
you were the nicest, chillest dude ever. Um,
People have their days, and at times it was a tough environment. It was tough. It was a lot, and I always told everybody that I worked with, and I still say it now too, is like, I see my coworkers, I see my colleagues, I see my boss, whatever. I see you guys more than I see my family. So
Yep.
why would I want to make an environment that I'm in for a long time stressful for myself and miserable for myself and others? Like, we
Yep.
all gotta do it, So why not have fun? Why not crack jokes? And I think that kind of bit me in the ass after leaving there, because I went to a very stuffy industry, like with college admissions and stuff. And I met some amazing people, and we had a lot of fun. But overall, it was, put on a show, put on this front kind of, and do your job. And I just couldn't see past it. So I tried to make it fun and inviting, and it just maybe rubbed some people the wrong way. And then I realized that, especially because during COVID, that kind of came out more frequently. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna head out, because this isn't for me, and I'm not enjoying myself.
It changed it. It changed the fact that, like you said, like, it changed it for everybody. I think for me, the same way. Like, I feel what you're feeling. Like, I came back, I worked with people. It just felt different working with people. I felt like, not that I was detached. I think I was more attached to myself than I was
Mhm.
needing to be around everybody else. Not to say I didn't love them or I didn't want to be around them. It's just like I felt as though there was more for me, and I wanted to do.
Do
And
you
I
think do you think that you were given the opportunity to show that or express that, or no, based on
in the
different situations?
uh, d- that's the thing. Like, in some situations, you can express it, and people just nod their head and say, "Yeah," but let's
Yeah.
like it doesn't mean it was going anywhere. And I
Yeah.
think, like you said, I was in that place where you stood in something for so long, like you constantly want, and you need to figure out what you want to do. I know
Mhm.
what I want to do. I love doing this. I just need to realize, like, those are the things that's going to allow me to do this. You know what I mean? I can do that, but as long as I do the things I love, and that's connecting with people and learning their story. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And like you said, like, I don't think a lot of platforms are doing this in
Mhm.
this manner of just talking.
Yeah, dude. It's like,
Nobody just talks anymore.
no, no. It's and it's funny because back in the day, I was all over social media. I mean, tweeting when I'm pooping, and like too much information. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like really all over it, and I just did away with all that, and it was great. And I recently just started. I just downloaded Instagram for the
Yeah.
first time, probably in maybe a year and a half.
Oof.
I would do it here and there. I shouldn't say that. It's been a while. I would do it like when I got married. I like downloaded it, put a picture
Oh,
up, and then deleted it. Like that was it, because it's just, I was big on comparing myself to my friends, to my
mm,
family, to whoever around me, and then I would see these picture perfect moments of somebody's life that I did know that person, and maybe I knew a little bit more than what they put out there, and it gave me these weird conflicting moods.
oof.
And I was like, I really, like, I don't care about this. I know my best friend group, what they're doing at all times, because we're talking,
Mhm.
and I'm experiencing some of those things with them in person. So why do I need to follow somebody that couldn't give a shit about me, but I'm putting all of my energy of what little I have throughout the day into this moment, this polished moment. So
Oof. That's some real shit right there, man. I like that. I think a lot of people don't look at it in that manner.
yeah.
I I understand where you're coming from, and I try to stop myself a lot. Sometimes I feel as though I have to be on there. It's just so automatic. I want to connect with people, but
Right.
I should connect with the people like this.
Yeah. Or like
Yes.
you had said the other day, like calling somebody and talking to them for like an hour.
Yep.
Like you just get lost in conversation. It's awesome. And I think one of my like best friends, he moved to San Diego 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. And he would call me and we would talk. And I was like, wow, I never thought I would be talking to you on the phone, because we just never did that.
Mhm.
And it was a great way to just stay in touch. So we kind of still did that here and there, but then me and him made a group chat with my other buddy, and we just talk all the time, and just it's fun. And we don't really, like, me personally, I just don't use social media. I really don't.
I respect that. To each its own, and I respect the fact that you utilize. If I'm not going to use social media, I'm going to connect with my people who really do care for me, and not worry about the people who don't.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to put on a front for anybody. I'm just trying to be. You're being you.
Yeah.
You're being your authentic, and you're being good, and you're happy in your space.
Yeah.
And you're not allowing anybody, unless you feel as though, you know
Yeah.
what, you could be a part of this.
Yeah. It's funny. We know more about other people than we know about ourselves. If you really like boil it down to a certain point, like if you ever just sit in a room by yourself and really like connect with yourself, you would find some crazy things out about yourself. If you had no other like inputs, if you had no other stimulants, you would really connect. And we don't do that. And it's a shame.
I love that. I love the fact that, like, you said that, because I think a lot of people, or a lot of listeners, or people who will listen, I want you to know, like, that maybe that's something that you need to do.
Yeah.
I think it's important what Mike said right here. He's expressing that, like, we don't need these outside variables. We don't need all this loudness. Sometimes we just need to sit here with ourselves and figure out who we are.
Yeah.
We're constantly in somebody else's life, like, oh, what's so-and-so doing? What's this person doing? Looking at their stories. Fuck that.
Yeah.
What's your story? Not to show to everybody, like, what did you do today? Like, who are you? Where do you want to go?
Another great tool that I discovered, maybe, I think I've been doing it for about 2.5 years now, is the Day One Journal.
Ooh.
It's an app, so it's utilizing technology, but
I got that the same company we was at.
Yeah. And I actually, it's funny. Yeah, I had to re-download it, but it's cool. Like, I set up different types of journals, and there's daily prompts that you get just asked questions, and I try to do it every day. Some days I don't do it, and that's okay. But it's fun to look back. Maybe a year from now, you'll get a post that says, on this day, and you read and you figure out where you were in that headspace or that mental state, and it's certainly eye-opening, because there were some.
I love that. You know what's crazy is that I don't think a lot of people do that. Like, they'll do it for like a little bit, and they won't go back to it. Right. And like, I go to therapy myself. Yeah. And it's good. And I learned that every therapist I ever had, or I ever tried out, this one I'm sticking with, he was like, why don't you journal? Like, why don't you make a voice note? He was like, why don't you do like something to show like how you was feeling in that time and what you were doing, to look back of like how far you have come.
Yeah. Because you have to celebrate little wins here and there. And there have been days where it's bad. I would drive home from work on my commute and think really, really terrible thoughts, and then take that out, whether that be on my environment or my wife. Not in that way at all.
No.
Like, just have that
negative, like this negative attitude, like
right. Having this headspace going into a certain situation, and it just blows up, and it's, it came to a point where then I was like, all right, maybe this isn't working. Maybe we need to take it a step further. And I did, I think for about a year, I was on a medication, and it helped, but recently it got to a point where it almost plateaued. And I found myself having a different reaction to it. And I didn't like that. And I had taken medication a while ago, a long time ago. And I told myself then, I was like, I'll never do this again. And here I am, I did it. I'm not on it anymore. And I've learned that might not be the answer for everything, just throwing that at it, and just learning about different ways to deal with things. Sorry, that was kind of a weird rant. I don't know.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right. Like, this is real. This is like,
Yeah.
that's how you felt. Like, I didn't want to take that. I
Yeah.
felt the
No.
same way. They
Yeah.
put me on Lexapro and they kept on giving me different dosage. I understand, and I tried it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this felt good for a minute, and I'm like, this is not it.
Yeah.
Like, there's something else I need to do, and not to say for everybody else
Right.
doesn't mean stop taking your medication. It's not
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, you may be that person who it just works for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a one-off. It's just
Right.
maybe a one-off for us that we don't need it,
Yeah.
or we just choose to use it in those moments where it's rapid.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Yeah. I think for me, it's been like discovering outlets and different things to keep myself grounded,
Mhm.
whether that be taking walks or recently one session with my therapist, she was like, hey, it's like, would you ever consider, are you allowed to have like dogs in your apartment? I was like, listen, I would love a dog. I want a dog so bad. So we got a dog and she's great. This dog is the love of my life. So there's just different things to kind of keep you going. And I circle back to the journaling. I kind of like you should do an analog journal and actually get like a moleskin journal and a really nice pen. I love pens. I can recommend a great pen for you. They don't make them anymore too, so you got to get them on like Amazon or eBay. But
Oh shit.
yeah, I just writing,
It's hard. Like,
it is really
I'm a
hard.
horrible
It is.
fucking speller. I was just talking about this in the other episode. Like, I just got a book that it's creative writing, and it's like, hey, don't look at your phone, just write it out. And I read some of the shit. I'm like, what the fuck? What am I writing? I need to check.
Yeah.
But I commend you for staying focused on it. Like, for me, like, I'm trying to push myself to do those things, and I'm choosing other things to push myself.
Yeah.
But we went off.
Sorry.
No, we went off. It's all right, but we're gonna bring it back. We wanted to talk about also, like, not only the mental health, but also like having a role model. You know what I mean? Like, how important that is in like, I was gonna say career path, but just in life in general.
Life,
And
yeah.
how do you become that? Like, what do you feel? Are you doing the things that you need to do so you can be that role model for somebody else?
That's a great question. And I certainly believe that everybody should have a role model. And people, I'm confident in saying every single person does. They just don't know it yet, or they don't realize that they're emulating that person in some way, shape, or form. And for me, it was, and I still email him to this day. It was a professor at where I went to college, and his name was Doc. He was a short little guy. He was like 85 back then. Not back then. I mean, it was not long ago, but still, yeah, he was old. But I took him for printmaking, and I wasn't an art major, and I just took that class, and he just kind of let me experiment. And he was like, listen, just all I ask is you come in on time, you do your thing, and that's that. I won't go hard on you because you're not an art major. You don't know any of this shit. I was like, all right. So sure enough, we started talking. He taught me more about life and about myself than any person or class could at that moment in my life. And even after graduating, like, I bawled in his, I hugged him. I started crying. I was like, Doc, I'm going to miss you so much, man. He's like, listen, email me all whenever you want. Like, I'll help you out with anything. My wife had him as an art major. So she was like, he was very excited that we were still dating after college, and we were engaged and we got married. Like, he was so excited. He was like, oh my God, like the schmoozer got the girl. So, yeah, I still email him to this day, and we just talk about like life and how we're doing. And he was like a role model of a well-respected person in his field, in his community, in his circle of people who he taught, and students respected him, faculty respected him. So that was like my first real role model moving into the quote unquote real world, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then I had my one friend he was my counselor back in the day for summer camp. He's like he's probably like 5 years older than me, but he then taught puppetry at my high school, and I took puppetry for 4 years in high school.
No way.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, did not
Oh,
learn
really?
this.
Oh, yeah. Puppetry for 4 years, baby. I made a Pauly D puppet. I made a Kermit. It was great. I got to send you pictures.
Definitely send pictures so I could post those up.
And so my senior year, that puppetry teacher left, and he took over as the art teacher and did puppetry and graphic design. So I had him for class, and we just kind of like connected. He liked tattoos. I liked tattoos. He was puppetry teacher. I really liked puppetry, so we just kind of connected. And I knew him from, like, he lived in the same town I did. He was my counselor. I remember him beaming me with dodgeballs in summer camp. Like, it was so much fun. But we kind of stayed in touch, and we grab beers together. We go get tattooed together. We talk about sports. Like, we hang out all the time, and it's awesome. And same thing. He's a very well respected person in his community, and that's somebody who I look up to.
I must say, I love to hear this. To me, you got to understand, coming from where I come from, I'm like, I see that shit in movies.
Yeah,
no respected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that sound like a movie to me. Like, he was my art professor, but taught me about life.
It's true. It's all true. Like, I texted him last week to go get some beers and tattoo. He couldn't this weekend, but we're gonna get tattooed again soon.
That's
it was
sweet, man.
Yeah, it was fun. It's awesome.
I want people to listen to that shit, because understand, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a crazy world we live in, yes, but like, some people you just connect with and vibe with. It could be that teacher, the puppet master dude, you know what I mean? Whoever it is, like, if these are the people that you connect with, don't let other people tell you who you can be cool with. Like, if you want to connect with them, connect with them. I would never think about, like, I'm gonna hit up my professors or you know what I mean, my teacher, the dude who beat me with a fucking dodgeball. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be like, let's grab a beer and let's get tattoos. You know what I mean? Like, I have one friend, and I probably had role models like you're saying right now, and I don't think we realized what those were. And I think we need to just, like, emphasize on that, like, how important it is. Yeah. But you said those are your role models.
Yeah.
What do you think you're living up to become that role model also? Like, the things that you're doing, and like, we only touched upon a little bit about your growth, like finding yourself and everything like that. But
yeah, I mean, I've always been very hard on myself, and to, like, my own downfall, like, just really, really hard on myself. So I would say probably not. Like, I don't know what it would take for me to have somebody look up to me, and maybe somebody does. And there's always that, like, weird thought where, like, where I am in my life, maybe there's somebody else that wants to be in my position or wants to be in my life, whatever it might be. Like, So yeah, there's probably somebody out there, but you'll never maybe identify that, or you'll never maybe connect with that person. So how do you, in your circle or in the people that you know and you see regularly, how do you step yourself up to be that role model? That's something that I don't know if I'll ever get that.
Stop.
It's true. It really is. Like,
my guy, I just listened to your story.
No, I know.
No.
But it's just there's that self like thought, like, you are just the worst.
No, my guy, I just heard your story. I know you, but I didn't know. Like, I'm gonna be honest, learning these things, and you only give me a little bit here and there, and I understand. We only got, like, this time and stuff, but you feel pain. You understand. Like, to me, I'm like, this guy is always positive. Life is always good.
No.
You said, like, the way you described it is how I felt.
Yeah.
What you probably had to deal with, I probably felt, or felt in some type of way.
Yeah.
You done and doing all the right things. You got the wife. You got the dream job where you're close by, you're relaxing, you're getting to play with your friends. You got the flexibility of time.
Yeah.
And you have that peace of mind, and you're doing all the right steps. You telling me that's not a role model?
I guess, yeah, in some capacity that is, yes. But for me, it's always been this, like, outside force that can never name, but it's in your mind just telling you like,
Yeah.
you'll never amount to nothing. You will always be in this situation. You will never get out of where you are now.
Oof.
And that's not true. And I've had to tell myself over and over again, like, at the end of the day, no matter what happens where I am, I get to step into my door, and that's it. Once that door closes, it is now my time and my thoughts and my feelings and my actions that I can control. And that's one thing that I struggle with still to this day, is like control in small situations, in big situations in life. And like, how do I only control what I can control and let go of everything else? And that's something that like I still want to master, but it's tough.
It is. But the thing is, you don't stop. I'm not gonna lie, like what you were saying, it hit me hard because I understand. I feel it. Like you're never gonna amount, and you always gonna feel that.
But here's another great thing.
Mm.
There is no time frame, timestamp, achievement. What do they call those? On in like PS5 trophies, all that. There is none of that shit for anything. So if you make $10,000 a year and somebody makes $100,000 a year, who cares? Who gives a shit? If you're happy doing that and you're safe and you're fine and where you are, so be it. Like, there's no time frame. And I had to tell myself over and over again, there's no sheet that says buy a house at this age, have a 401k invested this much at this age. Like, who gives a shit? When you do it, you do it. And there's a good song by one of my favorite bands, New Jersey band, the Front Bottoms. And it's a good song, and everybody should fucking listen to it. And it's called Everyone Blooms. And it's true. Everyone blooms at all different stages. Doesn't matter. I had this conversation with my dad a couple years ago when I was in that rut of just maybe trying to chase a dollar amount or chase a dream that I didn't really have a grasp on. And he's like, Mike, look at me. Like, it took me 35, 40 years to get to my dream job with a great salary and feeling comfortable. It took me 40 years after, college. Like, it doesn't come right away. It doesn't. Some people it does. They get the house, the fame, the car, all that shit. But like other people, you work towards it a little bit, and then things start falling into place, and that's when you get your happiness. That's when you maybe feel like you did it, and leading up to it is just a journey.
Love that, man. I love the fact that you have these dark moments, but then you know the things that you need to do to get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
You're doing all the right things. I know what you're gonna be hard on yourself, but you being that role model, I applaud you for that.
Thanks.
Like, I applaud you for being open enough to do this also. I appreciate it a lot.
I'm talking to one of my role models right here. This guy doing this. I have wanted to make an outlet or have an outlet to talk about this kind of stuff and bring it to people's attention, because it is super important. Mental health is, everybody should be speaking to somebody. If you feel any type of way, you should be speaking to somebody, and like having this platform to do that is awesome, and bring it up and get it in people's faces more, because it's real, and yeah, when I saw that, and I was at my wife's friend's like engagement party, and it had rained, it had poured, and I was under the tent. I stayed outside because I was fine. So I re-downloaded Instagram, and I came across this, and I was like, no way. Like, I got to reach out to him. Like, this is awesome. And here we are, a few weeks later, doing something that's important,
It is. Yeah. You know why? Your story is important.
Yeah. Everybody has a story.
Everybody has a story. And what you just told, where like it went here, it went there, it went all over the place. No, it's all good. But like the whole time, even though it went into these weird parts of where I connect with, where it gets dark, and it gets dark for everybody out there, my man stood positive the whole time, because he always went back and said, what, I'm doing this, and I'm trying to do that. And I love that, because you have to always remember to be that person of, like, you have to fight for it every day.
Yeah, literally.
It's never, it's an ongoing thing. Let it be in your career path, let it be anything that you do. Find those role models. Like here I talked about therapy or medication or all these things. Sometimes it's just somebody who inspires you that you emulate. I'm gonna use that word because you just fucking said it. I appreciate it.
That's
You know what I
good
mean?
word.
But like do those
Yeah.
things. And I appreciate you, bro. And
Yeah, I
I must
appreciate
say
you too. Like,
you're a great role model. But I
thanks.
want you, we're gonna wrap it up.
Hell yeah.
Before we do anything, is there anything else you want to say before I give you your see you later speech?
No, not really. Just everybody, if you, I don't know, text your friend, tell them you love them. Text your mom, tell you love them. Text your dad, tell them you love them. There's always room for love and positivity and sharing your story and speaking with people that I think we need more of, So I don't know, it's so cliche to say, but it's true, connect to somebody, go see them, go get a cup of coffee with them, walk with them. I don't know, play a video game that's better than texting or on a phone. I don't know. Do something with somebody you love and somebody you care about.
I love that. I appreciate you once again.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, JR. It's great seeing you, dude. It's
It's great
wild.
seeing you, my guy. It's great seeing you. I'm gonna have you on again. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be nice. Like I'm gonna try to bring in other people. I'm gonna just get this all started, but I don't want to stop. Don't think you can't hit me up. You have another idea or anything? Should wait.
Yeah,
But ladies and
for
gentlemen, like
sure.
you just met Mike Bernardo, the nicest guy I've ever met. If like this guy is my Tom Hanks in my movie. My
Wow.
life movie. He's my Tom Hanks.
Oh, that's wow. Those are some big shoes.
So this is everything at random. We talked about role models. We talked about mental health. But overall, we talked about how the things that we need to do while we're going to our career path, like finding the things that we love to do. We talked about a lot.
We did.
Love you guys. Stay safe. And for the next episode, we don't know where we might go. We don't know what we might do, but we're going to just keep on learning about people and learning about ourselves. Never stops. Later.
See ya.